What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. And this is going to be week 5 of the presence process. So I was really late on getting a video up this week. It's just been a very stressful time of year. It's the holidays, it's Christmas, and everybody's running around buying gifts, and I gotta be honest, I kind of got sucked into it, and I spent a little bit more money than I wanted to, but hey, that's okay. I've recognized it now, and I've kind of cut myself off from overspending, and I'm just focused on getting to the next part of my journey, right? So but again, I just want to talk about the book. This week's chapter is chapter 5, and the conscious response for this week was, I am innocent. Okay, so I read through this chapter. It was kind of a longer one, and I read through it a few times, several times I'd say, and one of the things that really stood out to me was how, okay, so let me just break down the chapter. Basically, it talks about when we're children, our parents basically give us love, right? They give us attention, but they can only give us attention to the degree that they received attention. So what happens is we start to get memories. We start to have imprinted emotional charges, signatures, if you will. Signatures or charges. And, we might experience something like fear or anger or grief. And what happens is when we grow up, these emotional signatures are still there, and they haven't really been fully integrated. So what happens is, we might get triggered, or something happens, and then fear comes up or anger comes up. And what happens is we leave the present moment, and we identify with this emotional charge, right? And we go, oh, I'm fearful, I am angry, I am sad. We personalize it, we identify with it, and we actually create an identity around it. And this is what causes us emotional trauma. This is what causes us to feel like uncomfortable and triggered. And so rather than just seeing the fear, the anger, the sadness as a manifestation that stemmed all the way back from childhood, again, we mistakenly identify with this charged emotion. So the whole point of the chapter was bringing us back to innocence. And actually, I was at work the other day, and there was a dad with his baby, and the baby was in the store, and the baby was just wide-eyed and just looking around, like just innocent, just innocently, without any judgment, looking at the environment that it was in and just taking it all in. And so coming back to that innocent state that we were in as children. And one of the things the chapter talked about was how do we actually integrate these kind of old emotional signatures from our past. And they use sort of an analogy about like time travel. So we've got to go back and rescue those parts of our childhood self that are still dealing with these past traumas, right? These past instances where we felt afraid or angry. I know that for myself, there was a time in my life where I got lost in the mall. Now, I wasn't a child, but I was still a young boy, and it was very traumatic. And I was scared, and I was crying, and I went and I remember I wandered into a department store, and I think I wandered into the lingerie section or something, and I had the woman there page everyone in the mall, and finally my mom and my stepdad came, and I was rescued, right? So in a way, it's like we've got to kind of go back, and we've got to look inside at our past, traumas, and really examine ourselves and do a self-examination, do a self-diagnosis, and just see okay, if I have a backache, it's okay, where in my body am I feeling hurt? And so identifying where we feel uncomfortable, where we feel fear or anger or sadness, where in our body is it kind of located? And then just being with ourselves unconditionally, feeling what we're feeling without medicating, without trying to sedate or control, and just allowing things to arise, and then we integrate them, and then we release them. And so this has been a really cool chapter, and I really enjoyed the information in it. So again, I definitely feel like there's a noticeable improvement. There's a noticeable difference in my day-to-day life as far as me feeling more present. I have been doing the presence process in the morning for 15 minutes and in the evening for 15 minutes, just sitting there, breathing in and out the nose and really relaxing. So I definitely encourage you guys to keep doing that. If you are doing it, great. And if you're not doing it, get on it. It's just literally, I mean, we're so busy running around trying to do all this stuff. It's like, why not just start your day doing nothing? Meditation, you know? And I've noticed that it's actually been helping me to get up earlier in the morning, like 5:30 a.m. If I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna get up at 5:30 a.m. and I'm gonna do this, and this, and then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I don't wanna do that. But if I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna wake up in the morning at 5:30 a.m. and I'm gonna have some water, and then I'm just gonna sit in the chair, and I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna listen to anything. I actually put in earplugs while I'm doing the presence process. And sometimes I'll even wear my eye mask. So I'm just sitting in the chair for 15 minutes. I've got a timer. And after that, I feel like, okay, cool. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to face the day. And then I'll do like the morning release usually. And, you know, then I'll just do some reading. And then if I happen to be going to the gym that day, I'll hit the gym. And so I just noticed that the presence process has helped me start my day off in a really positive, non-stressed out state. So that was basically all I wanted to say with that. And I guess, you know, the intention of the chapter, I am innocent. It's just the whole theme of that chapter is just bringing us back to the realization that all of our emotional discomfort, it's coming from childhood. Yet we think that because we're experiencing it here and now, that it's arising from the things around us that are happening now. But it really goes back all the way to childhood, back to our parents. And what we've got to do is recognize that we have an adult self, we have a child self. And so our child self, in a way, is gullible and like kind of dumb, you know, but it's pure, it's innocent. You know, like the baby that I saw, he's gullible, he's kind of dumb, but that doesn't make it bad. He's just innocent. And so we have to have compassion on our child self, and we've got to be able to respond instead of react, okay? These negative emotions are coming up, and instead of reacting, we respond. We respond. And we just choose to be with the emotional discomfort for as long as we need to. Just like you would be there with a really good friend, and you would just listen. You know, and so that's basically it, okay? I am innocent. I've been repeating that to myself throughout the week. When I get stressed, I am innocent. I am innocent. What I'm feeling right now has a root from childhood that didn't get fully integrated, and let's just take the time to be compassionate to ourselves, to nourish ourselves. And another thing I want to mention before I end this video is sometimes we want to help other people to the detriment of ourselves. And this is why, like, if you're in an airplane and it starts to crash, God forbid, you want to put your mask on first before you help someone else. And basically what this concept was saying was, like, if we're just going around trying to help people to the detriment of our own self, we're actually creating in that person a dependency on us to continue to help them. Like, it's good to give, but it's all about where is this coming from? Because if I'm giving to get, if I'm giving so that I can feel good, and I don't mean just like I feel good because I already feel good and I'm just giving as an outflow of my completeness. But if I'm like trying to help you so that I'll feel good, then that actually does more harm than good, and we shouldn't do that. What we should do is learn to help ourselves, to nourish ourselves, to spend time being with ourselves, and to really just, again, become self-nurturers. And so that is basically it, guys. I don't want to go on and on. Next week's video, I'll be more prepared. And I'm really seeing that there is a benefit to making these videos. There's a benefit to doing the missions and doing, you know, the even just reading the material, just actually participating in this program. So I think that's about it. If there's anything else, I will add it to this video. But other than that, I will see you guys next week for week 6 of the Presence Process. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.